Hello and welcome to my Create Aeronautics VTOL aircraft demonstration. This is my aircraft that I made. It's just a concept right now, that's why I got the diamond blocks in the front, because it's not very stable, but we can hover. There's throttle. If you go too fast it stops working. Okay, so slow there. And then I can go into the flight mode. Boom, you see that? Now we're flying. Okay, the mass distribution is a little off, but it's just a prototype. And it keeps dying because I don't have enough engines, but if I slow down the speed, then I can use my control surfaces. So this is it flying. Oh crap. So this is not meant to be a block by block tutorial because as you can see, it's a little rough, but I will show the main principles of the vertical takeoff and landing system, how it toggles between that, and also the throttle. And I will also show how to do basic control surfaces. Okay, so start with the most important thing, the VTOL, the rotating propellers. So this is the basic mechanism. You have your engine into a swivel bearing. A swivel bearing is like the same as a mechanical bearing where it just spins, but the difference is you can transmit power through it because you need to transmit power to the propeller. So then if you put a vertical gearbox on here, you can put their gyroscopic propeller bearing, and then your propeller will just roll in sails. So you need those to transmit the power. And then once you glue this together, you can take power from your shaft into a clutch and use a torsion spring. The torsion spring is like some other block and crate, but also the same thing. It can transmit power, and you need to transmit power to the cog of the rotation cogwheel to turn it. And the limit is on 90 because it just goes from up to sideways. So when you unpower the clutch or power the clutch, it turns 90 degrees. Now one problem with this is you don't really want to use levers in your plane. You want to use redstone links, but these only send or receive a pulse. So if I use it, make sure it's set to receiving. I'm holding down W, but as soon as I let go of W, it just goes back to normal. So the way to fix this is what's called the classic T flip-flop. So you can use a copper bulb because this takes a pulse signal and it saves it. So you just put that into a comparator to power your clutches. So whenever you send the pulse, you just need to press the button one time instead of holding it. That's the point of it. Now next, the throttle system. It's pretty simple. You just use this new redstone accumulator. So if I bind these to W and S now, if I press W, it'll increase. And I press S, it'll decrease. One annoying thing about the propellers is you can only put them on like 11 speed. So if you go to 12, they'll just die. But If you know, also if you go to 1 or 0, they still go because that's just how it works. So to turn them completely off, you need to go to 12. And lastly, the control surfaces. I'll demonstrate how they work. Well, I gotta go lower speed. So for turning, you want one to turn one way and one to turn the other way. And then for elevator, for going up and down, you want them both to go the same direction. So I'll show you how to do both of those. So for the turning, you want a gearbox. No. First you want this directional gear shift. So if you send power to one side, it turns the gearbox one way. If you send power to the other side, it turns the gearbox the other way. And when it's not powered, it doesn't transmit power. So then when you do it one way, it turns, and when you do it the other way, it doesn't turn. Now for making it go the same direction, it's harder than you might think just to do it in one block, but it's still pretty easy. You just use an encased chain drive to move the power from this direction to this direction, and then you use the same torsion spring and mechanical bearing setup. Oh crap. 360.